Greetings from New York City. I'm Phil and we're running the bridges. This is a video series where we visit all the bridges in New York City that you can run across. The big, the small, the old, the new, the world famous icons, and the ones you've never even heard of. And today we are returning to the Bronx and the Bronx River, and we are visiting the Starlight Park bridges. Now, Starlight Park is a park in central Bronx. Like I said, it's along the Bronx River, and there are 3 footbridges. There's one right behind me, as you can see, and this is really a nice little visit. Okay, so this park really has a very interesting history. This whole area, this whole land, was originally part of the estate of William Waldorf Astor, and in 1914 it was leased out. It was leased out to a company that wanted to put on an exhibition or an exposition, and so in 1918. This area became the site of the Bronx International Exposition for Science, and it was meant to, in part, showcase the fact that the Bronx had just recently become a new county. Bronx had only become a separate county from New York County, from Manhattan, in 1914. And so this exposition was held in 1918. It wasn't really much of a success, but the land would later become by 1920, become an amusement park. And so this was a quite an elaborate amusement park. It hit its peak in like 1926. They had roller coasters. They had a large pool that was considered the largest saltwater pool in the world. All kinds of games, all kinds of attractions, all right here. And it was called Starlight Park. And they even built, by 1929, they built a coliseum that was used for sporting events, boxing matches, so forth. They even had, there's even a soccer team called the New York Giants soccer team that played there. There were political rallies held there. So it was really something. It was quite an elaborate amusement park that was here on this location. And you know, as amusement parks go, they have their ups and downs. In 1932, most of there was a large fire that destroyed most of the attractions. The park continued on, mostly making money from the pool, and the Coliseum wasn't really so much of an amusement park anymore. But by 1946, it finally closed down. And by the 1950s, the city took over the land, became a New York City park, and they had built, you know, they had taken part of the land to build the Sheridan Expressway, which, I mean, you can see Sheridan Boulevard right there behind me, but they used it to build the Sheridan Expressway, part of it for the Cross Bronx Expressway, but it became a New York City park, and but it was not. I don't know, you know, the Bronx River was quite polluted. And by the 90s, there's kind of a revitalization of the whole Bronx River area, the whole watershed of the Bronx River. A lot of the Bronx River was cleaned up, and plans were put in place to revitalize and rehabilitate Starlight Park. So by the 2000s, work was being done, and by 2013 there was a large section of it that was done. New recreation fields, ballparks, ball fields, soccer field, basketball courts, playgrounds, comfort stations, and these footbridges. These are, you can see, they're all steel arch, just simple steel arch footbridges, but they're very nice. They were all constructed, I believe, between 2017 and 2023. I can confirm that as of 2021, when I did my blog post on this, 2 of the bridges were done and completed and accessible, and the 3rd bridge was constructed but not yet accessible. But so this park has a great history, but it's essentially a new park, a revitalized park. In 2023, there was more land that was revitalized and open. So now it's nice. There's some nice pathways to walk on and run on. I'll show you the. Right now. I'm pretty close to the northern entrance on East 177th Street. Um, so real quick, I'll just pause here and show you that northern entrance. Okay. Okay, so here I am at the northern end of Starlight Park, and I'll just show you the entrance right here. So it's a very nice walkway. You have some signage there for the park, and in there you have some picnic tables. It's a nice entryway to the park. However, this area here is not very nice. This intersection, if you're coming through here, just be careful. Use the crosswalks, use the pedestrian signals, and be careful because you got right here. This is the on-ramp for the Cross Bronx Expressway, and anytime you get people coming on and off the expressway, pedestrians, just watch out. So, but this is East 177th Street and DeVoe Avenue. DeVoe Avenue is that north-south street, and like I said, the Cross Bronx Expressway on-ramp here. But right behind me here is the MTA bus depot, and that is actually the location of where the Coliseum used to be. Now, the original Coliseum was built in 1929, converted into a MTA bus depot, and it remained in the 50s, I believe. Not 100% sure about that. And then you get sometimes the parks vehicles just. Anyway, it remained a bus depot for many years. It was finally torn down in the 96, 97, new building built up. And that's the site of the old Coliseum. And here you have some signs people put up. Friends of Starlight Park, Bronx River Alliance, Friends of Starlight Park. It's a nice, really nice little park. And like I said, there's the entrance. Okay, so now we'll get back to the bridges. Okay, and just showing you some of the park area. You see there's a bridge here. That bridge is the on-ramp for the Cross Bronx Expressway. It doesn't have pedestrian access. But there's a look at the Bronx River from right here. And like I said, you have these picnic tables, benches, and a still seating area. And this pathway goes for about a couple hundred yards, I suppose, and then it'll get into a more open area of the park. Okay. Okay, so yeah, having seen the northern entrance in this area here, this is the northernmost of the 3 footbridges. And all these bridges are between 150 and 170 feet long, so they're not big. You see behind me, well, that's 174th Street Bridge. I'll do that in a separate video. That doesn't have park access. That's street access, not park access. And these pathways continue along the east bank of the river, and they will eventually rejoin up to where we're going to go. There's pathways on both sides. So we're going to cross this river here, and cross this bridge. We'll end this river. So here's what the Bronx River looks like right here. Right, that's looking north, and then that's looking south. And so it's a nice bridge, nice pathway. Just a nice little crossing. Well, and I said the bridge, 174th Street, does have some park access right there. That's the ramp to 174th Street, but I will cover that in a separate video still. All right, and so now I'll pause it here, and we'll go down to the next part of the park and show you the next bridge. Okay. Okay, so here we are at the second bridge. I'll show you this. The middle of the 3 bridges. Again, same design. This one's a little bit longer. But I'll just show you where we are. Just behind me, just to the north, are those soccer fields that I showed you that video of. So the soccer fields are right there, right to the north. And you see they call it River House, that building there. I believe that's the headquarters of the Bronx River Alliance. Not 100% sure, but it's a park facility. And right behind me, the Sheridan Expressway. Now, like I said, the Sheridan Expressway was built on part of the land of the old amusement park. Just in the last few years, it was converted from an expressway onto a street level boulevard. So, again, a good sign of people, let's say, decommissioning expressways and freeways and putting more street level, either converting them into parkland or street level streets through the middle of cities. It's always good to see some decommissioning of freeways. And right just below me there is a canoe launch. So there is a canoe launch. You can head south down the Bronx River, but we'll just go across. And I do have one little correction. In 2021, when I visited this bridge, there were two bridges constructed. One was open. The first one, the north one, we already passed. That was open. This one was constructed, but it was blocked off because the pathways had not yet been completed. But you can see, again, the Bronx River, and there is some kind of small spillway down there. Yeah, you can see that, some little kind of small spillway with the canoe launch just below it. And it looks like low tide, the kind of muddy areas there. And just showing you off to the north then again. All right. And so now we're back on these pathways. This is a pathway that continued up north to where we were before. This pathway continues on around. From here, we're going to climb this hill and go up there, go over the railroad tracks. There's the railroad tracks right there, and we will hit to bridge number 3. All right, so we'll be right back. All right, and just want to show you this real quick. So there is, just after crossing the railroad tracks, the train tracks, there is street access to East 172nd Street. There's nice little street access here, but we're going to continue south. That's where we just came from. There's the railroad tracks. And we're going to head over there to that bridge. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are at the third of the 3 Starlight Park footbridges. This is the southernmost bridge. Oh, I want to show you that real quick. Subway going across there. That bridge up there. That's a subway bridge. But anyway, this is the third of the footbridges, Starlight Park, going over the Bronx River, of course. Now behind that, see the other structure there. That is a railroad bridge because this is a freight line. And I'm going to go up and get a closer look at that because that's really a fascinating bridge as well. It was there were three separate single-leaf bascule bridges. There's one of them was removed, and the other 2 are fixed now, so they don't move. But and just want to show you that because it's obviously not for pedestrians, but it's just incredible infrastructure. First of all, here's the third of the footbridges. You can see all these towers. Oh, and it's just so right alongside. Like I said, there's a single leaf bascule bridge raised up, and you can see just all the structure, and so you can see those. That's where the hinge was, and you can even see those gears. You can see the gears that used to move the tracks and used to lift the bridge. I just think that's fascinating. Like I said, it doesn't move anymore. It does still carry trains, but it doesn't move anymore. I just had to show you that. That's another just very, very cool point of interest. So if you're not only a bridge nerd, if you're a train nerd, that could be of interest to you as well. So there we go. That's the Starlight Park footbridges, and I just love it running here again. It's part of the Bronx Greenway that runs all the way from basically from 233rd Street all the way down to Soundview Park, with some interruptions. You have of course, the New York Botanical Gardens and the Bronx Zoo. You have to go around, and then there's a couple areas where you have to go on those streets for a few blocks, like just north of the 177th Street entrance I showed you. You have to go on the street for just a couple of blocks before you get to the next section of Greenway. But otherwise, this continues all the way down to Soundview Park for the most part. I'll show you behind me again, up to the south. If you go up to the right there, that's the street entrance to Westchester Avenue, and there is a bridge there on the street that I'll cover in a separate video. And continue straight on to Concrete Plant Park, which is directly to the south of us. Concrete Plant Park. So it kind of gives you an idea of the industrial history of the area around the Bronx River. But that is just a brief overview. I'll kind of just show you a look at that, of the river. Oh, and they do have some signage here also. You know, and then the other nice thing is they have these signs. So that talks about that railroad bridge, as well as there's a station right nearby. It was designed by Cass Gilbert. It's really dilapidated now. It's about crumbling and falling down, but it's still there in some shape or form. But that is so again, I highly recommend running the Bronx River Greenway. They're always improving, they're always adding, and they're always doing what they can to make this a really nice place for walkers, for runners, for cyclers. It's just a really nice place. And Starlight Park, I really like also. Honestly, I think it's my favorite name of any park in the city, because it's just got that like romantic nostalgia. Starlight Park, the site of an old amusement park back in the 20s and 30s. Yeah, so thank you for taking that visit with me. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you out here running sometime, and we'll see where the wind takes us for the next one.